And back to part two of this week's episode of Friday Night Counter Attack. We are here talking about the new managers in the Premier League. And so far, with only a couple of days before the Premier League begins, there are five new managers to be talking about right here and right now. And I needed someone who's managed his own time properly in the right way, someone who's managed his fantasy Premier League in the right way as well. I've not even started the league up this year for the Friday Night Counter Attack Fantasy Football League. I've been asked to do it, so I might have to do it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. But someone who's a great manager of time, great manager of entertainment, and unfortunately, is a great manager of his fitness as well. I'm saying it's unfortunate because I can't keep up with his fitness regime, which is incredible. So, Matthew, it's good to have you back on the podcast, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to this conversation on managers, but how are you doing so far, my friend?
First of all, thanks for having me on, bro. Listen, it's nice. My weather's nice, good, feel good factor. And do you know what? Reason why I like this one is because it's very easy to talk about players all the time. You
And
know
we're
what I
used to
mean?
it as well.
And you know what I mean? What we're used to. But it's nice to talk about managers because there's some people out there that probably want to hear this stuff. You know what I mean? And as we just spoke off air, there's one manager there that's completely thrown me off. But we'll get into that one.
Absolutely. Because
But
it's one of
I'm
those things
very
that I've been taking a conversation with at university for the last 3 years as well, studying in football management. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I'll bring it to the podcast this time around as well.
yeah.
Because I'm used to having this conversation about tactics, about style of play, about in possession, out possession. But we don't have to do all of that. We just need to talk about what's going to be beneficial for these managers and how they're going to be beneficial for their clubs as well. And
Yeah.
breaking news today, I think you sent it to me or Travis sent it to me on our group chat yesterday night that Arne Slot's not been able to secure Zubimendi for their first summer signing, which is very, very difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Arne Slot doesn't have that aura about him in England like he did at Feyenoord in the Eredivisie as well.
You know what? I feel like I think that's a major blow for any manager. I feel like even if it's not your target specific, but the club wanted them. And it seemed like it was it was going to happen. And
Yeah.
but that not to happen. And it's such a pivotal part of their team and how he likes to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how not just him, but the club recover from that one. But yeah, big blow, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Because with Arne Slot, who was so popular at Feyenoord, so popular in the Eredivisie as well, he's been in coaching since 2013. He's worked with some great managers like De Advocat as well. So we're expecting a lot from his style of play. A lot of Liverpool fans have been getting very happy with his high press, with the way that he works, with the way that he's looking to basically make sure that Liverpool aren't conceding as much as they have been doing under Jurgen
Mm.
Klopp in their rock and roll style of football as well. But for
Mm.
me to look into this Arne Slot manager and the style of play, I'm from an objective point of view, I am excited. It will be something different. They will have more control over games. From a Man United perspective, it is very worrying to see that they've not signed any new players this summer as well, with the likes of Salah aging, Luis Diaz. You've got Darwin Núñez, who's neither here nor there. The jury's still out on him in the Premier League.
Mm.
And with the retirement of Thiago, I know he had his injuries, but that's still a big factor missing from the dressing room as well.
Mm.
Trent Alexander-Arnold in his final contract year of his contract at Liverpool, and Virgil van Dijk obviously coming into the mid 30s of his career as well. But with Arne Slot, is there anything in terms of confidence that you're looking at? You think, you know what, he can still surprise a few people. Liverpool can go well in the Champions League as well, and they can still challenge for a top four position. What's kind of giving you a good feeling about Arne Slot, if any?
I think, do you know what it is? I feel like we can't really base on pre-season, but sometimes it takes managers a bit of time during pre-season to really implement their style of play.
Yes.
But with Arne Slot, I'm not gonna say I know Eredivisie well, and I watch Feyenoord a lot. You've probably seen them more than me, but you
Mostly in
kind
the
of feel,
Europa League, to be fair, in the Champions League more than
yeah.
Eredivisie.
But with them, it's kind of like they want that fast-paced football, similar to what Klopp was doing.
Yes.
But I think he sets up tactically a bit different. And yeah, I could see it was when we played them in pre-season friendlies, like we didn't get time on the ball. And he lacks a lot of good technical players. So if you look at a fun fact about it, actually, I heard is that he saw certain things at final that he wanted changing. So he devised training plans for them and insisted that was put into place. And months later, it changed. So that midfielder has got I just say I never know to say he's not there anymore.
Yeah,
Koku.
Kochu. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read a thing on it. I've got it here. He didn't like the fact he wasn't that explosive. So he devised a training plan to ensure he got more explosive. And I realized he did look a bit quicker. I don't know what plan they gave him. It seemed to have worked with him. And then obviously, maybe that's why they even got him signed. And then the better one was Jimenez, the striker. I think he didn't like his running style. and he got the trainers to work with him, took him out of the team every now and then, and post World Cup scored 12 in 20. And then that's when all the links come with all the bigger clubs. So it shows you he's a manager of detail. I heard he makes, his training sessions similar to how Klopp was. You saw players smiling in training and everything was fun, but he was still serious at the same time. So I feel like he's taken a lot of what Klopp has. So they're not really changing too much. The difficult part is the fact that the players are seeing a complete different face used to seeing Jurgen. I know a lot of people don't like Jurgen, but
he was Mr. Liverpool once upon a time.
This is it, and it's difficult. I always say, people say, "Oh, but they're footballers." But let's put it into our working lives, right? I don't want to go too far, but wherever we work, right? The manager we really get on with, they help us get our annual leave, this and that. That manager goes to bring someone else in. It's not the same. We know that, you know what I mean?
So difficult, so different.
It's so difficult. And you're like, let me fill them out first to see if I can do what I was doing with. And it will take time to adjust. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as a lot of people think it's going to be. But he needs signings. And that blow of not getting Superman yesterday, they're going to feel a lot.
Definitely. Because that midfield can only last so long as well. And they relied a lot upon Endo as well. I had the opportunity to speak to football presenter, football pundit Nabeed Haroon, who's a Liverpool fan, and he was saying that they kind of got the best out of Endo last season and they need replacements in that midfield to help maintain the likes of Mohamed Salah in attack. Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo has to be playing on that left-hand side as opposed to in the middle, which has been playing previously as well. So we want to get the best out of these players. But sometimes you need refreshing players to come into the team and actually help build this team moving forward. Konate is going to be a big player for them this season. And even with Andy Robertson hitting his early 30s as well, it's going to be very, very fun to see how Arne Slot competes with Champions League in this new format, Europe, Premier League, and of course Carabao Cup as well. So 3 big competitions straight away, and all eyes will be on Arne Slot at Liverpool as well. Even if the press won't be on him, like I know that they like to give Liverpool managers some time, so it'll be one where the fans will be looking at Arne Slot as well. So the manager that I'm not convinced by just yet, because I find it quite funny that people have compared him to another variant of Pep Guardiola, another variant of Mikel Arteta, is Chelsea's manager, Enzo Maresca. So, I mean, he was fantastic for Leicester City last season, winning the championship in his first season at management, which was incredible to see. He has worked, he's worked previously under Pep Guardiola. He used to be so good as an assistant manager as well. But we've seen the assistant manager of Pep Guardiola go on to do big and better things. Our clubs are living proof of that. Erik ten Hag at Bayern Munich and Mikel Arteta at Arsenal Football Club as well. But with this one, after the way that Chelsea have handled Mauricio Pochettino, they've handled Todd Bowley, they've handled Thomas Tuchel, could it be a case of they finish 6th again and then they lose as well? It's going to be very, very difficult. But that's a question for another day, and that's a hypothetical one as well. Because I wanted to ask you, what have you kind of seen from Enzo Maresca in terms of his style of play? He plays very positive football like he has seen under Pep Guardiola as well, kind of like with Mikel Arteta, of course, as well. But he loves to get players on the ball. He loves to get players out wide, and he loves to get people in spaces where they can look to penetrate in that final third as well. And for someone like Cole Palmer, that sounds like a dream match made in heaven as well.
Yeah, do you know, I don't know if a lot of people watched Leicester last season, but Leicester started last season championship on fire. And they had that little start where we thought, oh my God, are they going to bottle that massive lead they had?
Leeds were gaining on them.
You know what I mean? We could have been sitting here, and I do believe Maresca bottled that. That's never happening. That managerial appointment, never.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but when I watched them again, I'm not going to say I watched a lot of the championship, but when I did watch them, I think they did like a 4-3-3. I can't remember all their players. I think we saw in the FA Cup, Mavididi, I can't remember who the winger was, and Iheanacho, Vardy went as well when he played. So I think they started 4-3-3, and as the game changed, they're going to like a 3-2-4-1 type formation. So he's one of them, starts in the 4-3-3, but there's variance to it. And I feel like we're looking at this Chelsea, these signings, thinking, oh my God, it's so mad, they're signing this one, that one, that one. But I think he's probably thinking, you know what? It's easier for me now to implement the changes in formation. Because a lot of managers nowadays, apart from no disrespect to your guy, Ten Hag, but a lot of managers, you find they do a lot of in-game changes and you think, oh, that's changed.
They're very fluid. Maresca said previously he's very big on plan Bs as well. So he doesn't mind a plan B if it means you have to change up as well, because plan A doesn't always work. And Someone that's been a plan A kind of guy is Eric Ten Hag. So no disrespect taken at all.
Yeah.
I've seen it in person, and it's not really worked out well for us over the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
and you have to. I feel like in the Premiership as well, a lot of teams are getting so much better. You can go in with a 4-3-3, but they'll nullify that within 20 minutes. So you've got to be able to go, do you know what? Like Pep's the master of it. We see Stones goes into midfield, this happens, Grealish is here. You're like, what's going on? Doku right, left, whatever. And I feel like Maresca's now got the players. There's a lot of players, we know that, and they're still going to sell a couple, but they are quality. You know, I mean, I did a show on them yesterday, and I was just saying, like, if you look at Palmer and Kunku, Madueke, who probably sell, Sterling's still there. I think Jackson will have a better season. There's a young guy from Barcelona, Mark Gui,
Yeah.
Gui, who was still got Romeo Lavia, didn't play last season. Caicedo needs to get
Pedro
better.
Neto signed in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Pedro Neto just signed. So if they get it right in terms of formation, I think they'll have a decent season. We're just laughing because they're signing everybody.
Yes.
But, you know, it's one of them where if you can really sit down and say, this is my squad of 23, they need to get their back four right. Reece James needs to come out of the team because he's injured every week, you know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like they'll be all right. I feel like they'll be all right. And I feel like he'll take how he played with Leicester. If he takes it to the Prem, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, I didn't forget him.
I don't get that sign at all. I know he's a good player. He was fantastic last season for Leicester, but when you've got Lavia, you've got Enzo, you've got Caicedo. I know they got rid of Conor Gallagher, so I understand that as well. But it's gone from a team where if he was in the Premier League right now, he'd be starting for them. He'd be even the case for being their captain over the season, and has gone to being a bit part player at Chelsea. And we saw that with Danny Drinkwater a couple of years ago, but we also saw that with N'Golo Kante. But Kante was the starter and Drinkwater was the bench player. So it's going to be a very, very difficult one. Very, very difficult one to see how Kieran Dewsbury-Hall fits into this team. But the one thing that we do have to speak about is the fact that he loves working with inexperienced players. He loves working with the younger players, and it's worked well at Manchester City because that's where he got to work with Cole Palmer quite a lot as well. And Palmer was in and out of starting lineup as well. So this could be a match made in heaven, like I alluded to earlier, where you've got someone like Cole Palmer who loves to go into the pockets, into the free space as well. And he loves taking risk at the same time. And when you've got someone like Noni Madueke, who looks to be a great direct winger, hopefully that could be a combination where you've got Palmer, Madueke, Nkunku, Neto, maybe as a front four, and it works so well for them because even playing Nkunku as a false nine may work in Maresca's favour as well. But like you said earlier, it's all about the flexibility. It's being able to adapt. It's being able to work really well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Maresca has on offer. And early in the conversation that we had with Sarah, she said that maybe Maresca can make top four for Chelsea with all of these players as well. So maybe that could be an option. And with all the players that they have, we don't even know what we're going to expect from Chelsea, but it's going to be a very, very fun season to watch Chelsea play moving forward as well. But nicely done there. This is a manager that we're going on to now, who, again, is in the same kind of way of, he's still quite young. He could be a player if he was a player, but the fact of the matter is, he's 38 years old. He's had back-to-back promotions, back-to-back. Do you know how mad that is in the English Football League? Unless you're Wrexham, your back-to-back promotions is crazy. Ipswich, League One, takes them to the Championship. First season of being in the Championship, gets them automatic qualification into the Premier League. Up steps Kieran McKenna, the man linked with the England job, the man linked with the Chelsea job before Maresca, even linked with the Man United job after Eric Ten Hag was uncertain of his future. But yeah, he was a former football player. He retired at 22. He's coached at Tottenham and Manchester United, and he was under Jose Mourinho and Ralph Rangnick's team and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team as well, which is great to see. But before we move on to anything Premier League related, have you ever seen anything like that where you thought, you know what, that is beyond incredible, seeing Kieran McKenna go promotion after promotion from League One to the Championship to the Premier League? That was incredible. What have you kind of noticed from that?
It's crazy because when you think about the teams that have played in lower divisions over the years, there have been some quality teams. But then you go to the league above and it don't happen. I think the last
It doesn't translate, right? It's like Company when he got promoted with Burnley to the Premier League.
You know what I mean?
Didn't translate.
Doesn't translate at all. I think the last team to do that, I think, was Southampton 2012. I think.
Yes.
They know the last ones to do it. So yeah, there's no mean.
Matt knows ball. I have to give that knows ball for that one. So yeah, I like it.
Yes. But,
come on, we got to stay consistent with it.
No, but you know what? Yeah, like that itself, even if they come up and they get pummeled and relegated, That is, you can't even see Ipswich and McKean, we're going to get rid of it. And I think that's what's important with these type of teams. Like a lot of these teams that come up and it doesn't work out, they get rid of. Like I saw someone, sorry to go a bit off topic, the Preston manager, one loss is gone. Like it's just like
Evans, poor guy.
You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of these clubs, it's all about stability. Because the fact, it's not, it's not like Premier League fans where we lose a game, Arsenal, like, oh, it's the end of the world on Twitter and da da da. They lose the game, it's like, yeah, cool. We'll go away to Exeter or whatever, next game we'll win. And it's such a slog, that division. You can lose your first 5 and you make the playoffs. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think what he's done has been amazing. I'm not surprised he got linked to the England job, Chelsea job, Man United. I did think it was a bit early still. I still feel like he needed a bit more time, maybe an in-between club before making that jump. But yeah, listen, it's been nothing short of amazing. And even the celebrations last year, I was watching it when they got promoted. I went, he must feel good being at Man United, like you said, under all them guys. And now you've gone your own path and you've got your team, the 2 back-to-back promotions. That's a massive, massive feat.
Because it's the fact that he was such a young coach as well. He worked with Michael Carrick, he worked with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he works in an attacking style of play. And what I said with Sarah early on was a lot of teams don't translate well when they go from the Championship to the Premier League, just like with Burnley Football Club, because they're the big dogs in the Championship. And then when they come into the Premier League, they sometimes sink or swim. And a lot of teams recently, like we saw with Luton last season, they sink, unfortunately, even though they're playing somewhat attractive football, which is enjoyable to see. But they've got a lot of unknown players for Premier League fans, which will be great to see because it will be very refreshing to learn about some of these players, some of these teams as well. But the fact of the matter is, one stat that really works well for Ipswich last season is 23 of their goals from last season came from the bench. So
crazy.
Hannah loves a change. He loves a super sub. And he loves the fact that you can get subs involved to score and assist, which is incredible to see. And it's very nice learning about these kind of things as well, because it's just like, you know what, we have to learn a bit more about what to expect from Ipswich. And Ipswich's first game of the season is against Liverpool as well. So it's new manager versus new manager, but it's top Premier League club versus top Championship club now in the bottom of the Premier League. So it's going to be a big change for Ipswich. And it's going to be a big change for Kieran McKenna as well, because before we get on to the next manager, one thing I love about Kieran McKenna is he's a big advocate of the number 10. He's a big advocate of the number 10 coming back into position. So his number 10 that he's got at Ipswich is floating, he's free flowing. He doesn't have to be rigid. He doesn't have to become a second number 8. It works really well to have a free flowing player. And he believes in the Maverick, which is good to see. And it worked really well when we had Paul Pogba playing great football under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Kieran McKenna was an advocate for that as well. It worked really well when Bruno Fernandes was working under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, because it allowed Bruno Fernandes to be free. That was when he scored his most goals for Man United and his most assists as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to from Kieran McKenna as well, Matthew, which would be great to see. But now we're going to be talking about another manager who has been promoted with a team. He used to play for Swansea, and we know he was a good defender for Swansea, but now is managing Southampton. Let's see if you know his name.
Come on, Russell Martin. Come on,
easy.
Man.
That was an easy one. I should be testing you that kind of stuff, but I mean, that was a good signing from Southampton. When they got rid of Hassan Hüttl, they were kind of changing of where they wanted to go for. They went for another young manager as well, so it's going to be good. He also used to play for Norwich City, but I mean, their style of play, like, I want to be excited by their style of play, but I also want to be optimistic that a lot of these teams won't be able to play the style of play. But let me hear your first thoughts on Russell Martin as the new manager, well, not the new manager, but the new manager in the Premier League for Southampton.
You know what? I feel like football's got to that point. We spoke about before that you're losing, the Ancelotti type managers. Now you're getting these younger type managers with this different style of play, like where it's like more expansive, fluid, like they want possession football and playing out from the back.
Yeah.
But I think when he first went, I remember I'm random. I read blogs of all these teams, and
don't be disheartening yourself. It's great because it means you're learning. You want to learn more about it. But and also, I love the fact that I'm on a swiveling chair today. I need one of these at my own place. It'll be great. I need a swivel chair. It's fantastic. But it's so funny when people are like, no, I like learning about football. I love learning about football. Keep it going, man.
No, it's true. But you know what, like. And when you watch Southampton, they play good football. I hate Southampton as an Arsenal fan because it's the Theo
Walcott game. The 2-2. Come on now.
Don't you find that it's the one ground you go to, no matter what form they're in, at St Mary's? Something weird always goes on. You think, how have we lost to them lot like there? You know what I mean? Yeah, I do. I'm worried for them though. I think they're one of them that's a certainty to go back down. I don't think they really changed much in their back four, and I always think when you come up to the Premier League, I don't think you can really go with the same back four you had when you were in the lower divisions because the quality is not as good as the Prem. So you're going to get found out a lot more better. So I think they're going to go back down. And so I don't go too off topic. That's why I think Ipswich may be all right. I feel like because
I said that as well. I said that with McKenna.
I feel like they've got to make home a fortress. And I feel that game against Liverpool is the start. Like if they can perform well, even if they lose, but they perform well, straight away you think, yeah, win. Like Luton, Kenilworth Road, they were on that run. Remember when they weren't losing to like big clubs at home? And I feel like Ipswich need to do that, but they've got a lot more quality.
Oh, sorry, I've got some breaking news. Like you did on the last podcast, I got some breaking news. Spanish media reporting that Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid might be off.
Shut up.
It might be off. Way. It might be off. By the time this podcast comes out, we'll know. But at the time of recording, it might be off.
Whew. Chelsea are a mess in terms of that anyway. Well, that's for another day. That's for
another day. Another day.
That's another. But no, back to Russell Martin. Yeah, so I think I'm worried for Southampton. But listen, at the end of the day, it's one of the managers where no matter what happens in the Prem, you'll get another chance in the Championship. You know what I mean? And when you come through the playoffs, though, you get a lot of money, isn't it? You get a lot more money than the team that would have finished top. Because I think there's like that parachute payment. So yeah, I'm surprised they haven't really used it. But yeah, he'll be all right. But they're going down anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Sugawara was a good signing from Azan Akmar as well. The right back is going to be a top player. So I've really been a fan of him for a good couple of years now. But it's about how they're going to be scoring goals. It's about how they're going to be making sure that they're not going to be so open in midfield as well. And they don't want to just be a team where they go up and down. They don't want to turn into the next Norwich or West Brom. They want to be able to be an established Premier League side again as well. Remember, they were in European football once upon a time, Southampton. So big expectation on them. Once again, so it's very, very fun indeed. Right then, final manager to speak about. Let's see if I can pronounce his name properly. Fabian Hurzeler, Brighton and Hove manager, 31 years of age.
Mad.
His first game is against Everton. He is also the first manager in Premier League history to be born after the competition started. But the reason he was given the role as Brighton manager was because he got St. Pauli into the Bundesliga last season. So he's got something about him. He's clearly got something that a lot of managers don't, which is youth on their side. And it's also the fact that there's so much that we've got to learn about this guy, man. I don't want to just write them off straight away. I kind of did in the previous part of the podcast. I said Brighton will finish bottom half of the table. That's my unpopular opinion for this season because Premier League is a very, very different animal. It's a different beast completely. But 31 years of age, it's going to be great to see how he goes from Graham Potter to Roberto De Zerbi to Hurzeler. We're getting old, Matthew, my friend. We're getting old.
It's mad, though, isn't it? When you deep it, 31, and he's a manager of a Premier League team.
Milner's older than him. Dunk is older than him. Welbeck is older than him. Jeez.
That's mad. And you know, I feel like though, if you're 31 and you're a manager or a coach, as he's probably going to be doing over there, I feel like that or Brentford are the best clubs for you in terms of being able to what you've learned at your St. Pauli.
St. Pauli, yeah.
Yeah, to take what you learned there and try the tactics out with because Brighton do have quality, but I'm with you though. I don't think we're going to be seeing the Brighton of before was like top 6, top 7. Like I think that's kind of gone now. I feel like that. Remember there was that buzz, Caicedo, Buonanotte, Enciso, Ferguson, Mitoma. Like even, all these players are kind of not Nketiah, Cucurella, sorry, Cucurella, yeah, and all of that. So I don't think we're going to see that Brighton anymore. But I am with you. I feel like they'll finish bottom half. And like you said, that's not to disrespect what they've done, but other teams are just doing better business and more quality, i.e. Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? Crystal Palace is normally a club we will laugh at, but now you're looking at Glasner, you're thinking, oh my God, he's taking them to another level now. So
it's looking like a reliable manager appointment as well, Glasner, which is great. So maybe German coaches are the way moving forward. We've seen it with Thomas Tuchel with Chelsea. Jurgen Klopp, need I say more as well? I'm pretty sure I've done a podcast on this before about German managers being such difference compared to English managers as well. So seeing someone like Hurzeler come in, former youth player at Bayern Munich as well. He said that he's got inspiration from one of your favorite managers in European football, Gianpiero Gasperini and Roberto De Zerbi as well. So maybe this could be a team for you to watch, Matthew. Maybe it's a team for you to enjoy at the same time because
could be, man. Listen, even though I'm an Arsenal fan like you're a Man United fan, I'll still watch other teams. I'm always intrigued to see how other teams do it. So I think that's one team I'm really going to look at for that. Let me see how he's doing over there. But again, I feel like if the season doesn't pan out, let's say you get to like Feb, Jan, and they're near the end of, that region, fans will start to get fed up straight away. But he has to have a good start.
All I'm going to say is going to be a long-term project if they really want to back the guy. Because if you're thinking about it, we're no longer in the era of an Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson type of tenure. But to hire a 31-year-old, and let's say they get 4 years out of him, he's 35 years of age. That's kind of around the time when Andre Villas-Boas came in to manage Chelsea. So it kind of goes to show that he's still got so much more of his career to get into as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Brighton have to offer. But out of all of these managers, Matthew, to finish off our conversation on the podcast, rate them 1 to 5 in terms of how successful do you think they're going to be this season? So I'll read the names out again. So from start to finish, Arne Slot, then we spoke about Enzo Maresca, then we spoke about Kieran McKenna at Ipswich, Russell Martin at Southampton, and Fabian Hurzeler at Brighton and Hove Albion.
So number 1.
Remember, different teams have different definitions of success as well. So
exactly what I've just said. This is why you know ball, man.
Come on, we're telepathic today. I'm loving this.
I think with McKenna, I feel like he'll be 1. And I feel like in the sense of, as I said, make Portman Road a fortress. Good players there, like you said, plays with a 10. And I don't think you're going to see him change his style up too much. But again, I feel like we're going to look and be like, all right, that's why he was linked with England, Chelsea, Man United, you know what I mean? And I feel like he's going to have he'll have a good season with them. So he'll be 1 for me. Number 2, I'm going to go with Slot, Arne Slot. I still feel they've got 2 bits of business to do, and 6 and another player. So I'm trusting to make an important signing. And again, in preseason they look good. They still got quality players as well. So I think they're going to do all right. I think 3rd, I'll say Maresca.
Yes.
I think Maresca, I feel like, there's...
Conference League win. I reckon they're the best team in the Conference League so far.
Listen, they have no choice but to be, because there's clubs I've never heard of. You know what I mean?
Clubs they've never heard of either.
Capacities of 20 and all that, you know what I mean? More in the gym ball. But yeah, I think they'll go for... They've got, they've got so many players that the quality's got to tell at some point. You know what I mean? It's got to tell. So I think he'll be 3rd. I'm going to say 4th. I'm going to say Hurzeler, in the sense I feel like we're going to see great moments every now and then from Brighton. But again, we can't expect him to finish in the top 8. And last, I'm going to say Russell Martin. I just feel like, do you know
relegation on the cards for Southampton?
I think they're gone. I think they're gone. I already said I feel like it'll be Southampton, Leicester, and the 3rd team. People are going to hate me for Everton. I think Everton will go back.
Dyke ball isn't going to last very long, it seems, according to you. So we have to wait and see what happens. That's a lovely little list as well. I'll join in.
What's your 1 to 5?
My 1 to 5, I think, in terms of success, most success, Kieran McKenna is going to survive for Ipswich. I'm going to back him all the way throughout the whole season. I'm going to look forward to seeing what he has to offer as well, because he's a great young coach, and England fans need to be excited about some of these younger coaches. We've seen it with Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. We've seen it with Graham Potter at Brighton and Hove Albion. I think it's another one where we've got another great coach coming through. Not a former player like Wayne Rooney or Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard, a great young coach coming through as well. Number 2, I'm going to go for Fabian Hurzeler for me.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be very, very difficult to... No, I'm not. No, Hurzeler's up 4 for me. Arne Slot 2, Maresca 3. I think I'm copying you with this one, because the way we're doing it is in terms of their success as well.
Yeah,
Hurzeler being in this position is already success. Is at a Premier League club that were in they're in the Europa League round of 16 against Roma last season, or quarterfinals against Roma last season. Big club for him to go from St. Pauli. That's success in itself. So I was going to try and be cheeky by saying a line like that, but no. Hurzeler for success this season is making sure that they're still competing around 9th, 10th, 11th for Brighton and Hove Albion this season. Russell Martin, if he gets them to survive big
Oh,
contract will be on the table. Big
oh,
contract for Southampton will be on the table.
yeah.
They're always a good team to play on Football Manager as well, so it'll be fun to see how they will do in a new coming Football Manager. And Maresca, he's given every single player, he's probably asked for and more. He's probably got a backup of a backup of a backup with these 57 players in the squad as well. So I'm expecting Maresca to do big things for Chelsea, and we can't have another season of Maurizio Pochettino where they get sick and then they get sacked. If they are going to go for a younger manager, Maresca, they have to back him for a good 2, 3 years to move forward.
Mm.
And I want to see what happens with Chelsea at the end of the day. And some people may think this is a bold move by having Maresca as a manager, but the fact is, all of these Pep disciples, man, they're doing the business at different parts of the world.
Mhm.
Xavi, we've seen Ten Hag, we've seen Arteta. Very, very fun to see Maresca do this as well, which would be great fun to see.
Pep must feel like such a boss. Imagine like, no, but it's true though, isn't
You're
it?
right, you're right, you're right. Like, oh,
All
these
these
are these are
disciples,
my
yeah, like,
children. These are my children right now.
yeah, like my guy did well. They're like, it's insane, man.
Mm.
Like, it's oh god, crazy, crazy, crazy.
It's going to be good to see how it happens.
Mm.
Oh, right then. I'm going to leave you to your afternoon. I'm going to leave everyone to their day, afternoon, evening when they're listening as well. It's been a fantastic conversation to preview the Premier League season that's coming up. And there are going to be some new players that we've spoken about already that we're going to speak about before the end of the transfer market, because the transfer market ends at the 31st of August as well. So there's going to be some new twists, turns, and new signings potentially coming up as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we've got going on. But Matthew, have you got an unpopular opinion for the season before we wrap up our podcast today?
My unpopular one, and I said it in the podcast, I think Ten Hag doesn't last the season.
Oh, we hear that every season, so that's fine.
No, but you know what? I was just saying, I feel like what is Man United have got a new board in place. I feel like this board have an idea of what they want. I feel like, you know, the board were linked to all these managers, Tuchel, McKenna, whatever. To everyone thinks, oh, Ten Hag is safe, he's safe. No, this is their way of going. You're getting these players now, and you're going ex-Ajax. That's up to you, man.
Yes.
But it's on you. This is the sword you're choosing to, you know, to go with. So I think, yeah, I think if you get to December, Jan, it's not looking good. I think it's done for him.
It's good as well. And also, big congratulations to Aaron Wan-Bissaka for completing his move to West Ham United, confirmed over the last hour as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him at West Ham United. I'd like to see him shine under Julian Lopetegui, and hopefully he's going to build a great connection with Jarrod Bowen and Mohamed Kudus in attack as well, which will be fun to see.
What's your big prediction? You're trying to avoid it. I know you said Brighton.
I said it earlier in the podcast about Brighton finishing in the bottom.
You have another one. Do you have another one where people?
I'll do it on a player. So I'll do it on a player, which will be good fun as well. I think this is the season where how can I explain it? My unpopular opinion. I'm gonna do it on player because I've done it on a manager and on a club, which is Brighton and what we've got going on as well. This is going to be very fun because I've still got to get it going, and I'm going to get it going as well. But I think this is a season. I'm going to stick it with West Ham. This is a season where people believe Mohamed Kudus is a top class baller, not just every now and then, but Mohamed Kudus will be fighting with the likes of Mohamed Salah, Erling Haaland. He's going to be fighting with Heung-min Son for goals and assists, with Ollie Watkins as well. I think with this new team that they've got, Mohamed Kudus will be fighting. He's had a season in the Premier League to settle in. He's done really, really well over the last season. He's a maverick of a footballer. And I'll never get bored of backing Mohamed Kudus because I love watching him play. It was annoying when he scored against Man United and did that celebration, but I love watching the boy play. It's fantastic to watch. So
yeah, great player.
If that's a bold prediction for a footballer, I will do that for Mohamed Kudus because Mohamed Kudus, Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandes, these creative players, Martin Odegaard, creative players are fantastic to watch. And I think Mohamed Kudus with this new team, Somerville, Fulcrum, Bowen, exciting for West Ham United fans. It's all about the manager for me. If the manager can get them cooking, then they're on fire.
You know what? I want to change mine now. My Ten Hag is too easy. What I will say, West Ham for top 4. That's my wild one.
We're back in West Ham clearly, which is great to see. So I'm looking forward to it, which will be fun. But no, everyone, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for following us on our journey, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the routine of podcasting and recording and taking it easy as we're finding our new ways moving forward as well. So a big thank you to Matthew on this conversation as well. Make sure you check out Back in the Net podcast as well, because big things are happening across there as well. Follow them on social media, and it's going to be good. We're going to have a fun time as well, which would be fantastic. But yes, have a lovely day. Take care, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.